Every day. Every day. It's, I love the numbers because they can be great teachers. But the numbers also, you can cook your books in a million different ways. And so, you can actually manufacture the numbers to say whatever you want them to say. And sometimes there's a real use for that also. So it's just one part of the stew. It's something that we're always trying to dig into because they can be a great teacher. But they can also, our sample sizes never get big enough to make it a sure thing or completely reliable. Analytics are really there to make you ask more questions. But it is not a rule book. It's not I think if you use it that way, you're really shortchanging all the other aspects of the game.
Mark, when you were evaluating Jalen in the portal, and obviously his shooting percentages weren't great last year, what did you see that made you think?
You guys set this up, right? Because you're going to have me say you don't always trust the analytics, and then you're telling me to go to the analytics. So a bunch of things. One of the things that really stood out to me is there's a really useful functional shot quality metric. So what it essentially does is it kind of does a comparison and contrast between every type of shot in the average college basketball player. So if it's a pull-up two from the left wing, it will take all of those shots and kind of give you an expected value from the average college basketball player. And if it's a pull-up three in transition, if it's a post move where a second defender comes, it kind of breaks it down that way. It's kind of a shot quality metric, and it takes into account a player's history. And so one of the interesting things about Jalen was, for whatever reason, last year, he was in the 95th, 93rd percentile of players in the country taking shots in the bottom 20% of shot quality numbers. And we love when we see things like that because those are things that it doesn't depend on increased skill. It doesn't depend on hours and hours in the gym. It just relies on a new understanding, a new style of play, maybe a new environment, a new way for J-Lo to approach the game, and we can see quick, huge, massive changes when you see numbers like that. So that's one tiny slice of it. I like the way he owns his shot. I like the way he finishes shot. I like his fearless nature. All those things translate well to him being a way more efficient player. I like the fact that he can get wherever he wants, whenever he wants, off the bounce. That translates him into having huge capacity to be way more efficient. So we have big-time expectations. We got to see a very similar transition from Lamont Butler. He made huge strides, like almost inconceivable strides last year, based on a little bit different but a similar trajectory.
Coach, when the guys first arrived in June, what is one thing that you and the staff nailed? Like, okay, this is exactly what we expected. Yep. What's one thing that maybe surprised you guys, good or bad, about the group coming in?
I mean, I'm keep coming back to this because it's just overwhelming every day. This is a competitive group. They love to compete. We have competitive souls on this group. It's interesting. I'll take DA and J-Lo as examples. They're probably best friends off the court, and then on the court, they are just torturing each other every single day. It's so fun to watch. You have a guy like Colin Chandler who has grown so much, who is the most kind, mild-mannered, loving guy off the court, and he just wants to rip your heart out on the court right now. Mo Diabate has brought this beautiful, competitive, bully mentality to our team. I could go on the list. So that's been really fun. I do think one of the things, I think we're way more mobile. I think we're really, really mobile at all five positions. And I think we have a ton of growing ball handling, ball moving capacity that I think is going to bode well for us.
What's an area where maybe you're behind compared to where you were at this stage last preseason?
Well, the only thing I would say is we're not quite as veteran as we were last year. I mean, and that's just going to be a work in progress. We were blessed last year. We had 7 super seniors to start the season on the roster, and so that's hard to replace in that sense. But our in-game experience was so huge last year in terms of guys. Even though we were brand new, guys hadn't played together. They'd been on the court for just an enormous amount of reps. And so that's the one thing where I'm like, hey, there'll be a little bit of a growing process there, but otherwise I like where we are. I mean, I think our staff's done an unbelievable job, and I think our guys have really tried to buy in. And you guys are going to hear this a lot from me. I'm really excited about this group. I'm really excited.
For last year, you talked about the amazing stories that brought these guys here to Kentucky and how they were all different. Well, this year you're coming in with quite a few returners. You've got freshmen. You've got top transfers coming in. You've got a guy that returns as preseason All-American. How is it different handling that pressure and that preseason hype of more of last year of a what's this team going to be? I know you say you sign up for this when you come here. What's that like in difference to last year?
It's always the same. It's just always the same. And that's what I think anybody outside of Kentucky just will never understand. You know, some people might say, you know, last year a veteran team, so there's a lot of pressure to win. This year, you know, you have a deep team, so there's a lot of pressure to win. You know, next year it'll be something else. What you don't understand if you're not here at Kentucky is that this is all the pressure, always. You know, if we had 3 players on this roster, the expectation would be we'd still go win a national championship. That never changes here. It's what sets one of the things that sets Kentucky apart from everyone else. So I don't know what the difference is in the pressure or the expectations. It's the same, and that's why this place is so great, right? It's why like we all get to be together in this room together, even everybody's squished in the back, right? It's Kentucky. It's what it is, and you're right about that. That's why you come here, you know. And it is not, you know, it's not the right fit for everybody because you have to love this the way that we love it to want to be here, and that's a pretty cool thing.
Mark, do you think that the kind of makeup of this roster makes you guys a more, or I guess an improved rebounding team just from a physical standpoint?
Yeah, our staff and our players have done an unbelievable job about making that a 100. We have 3 100s as we've talked about, and so we chart every single wedge effort, every single live possession of every single practice all summer long, and we've made great progress. I do think our mobility, you know, one of the things that leads to offensive rebounding opportunities is pace, space, and mobility in terms of continuous cutting hard. Because it's harder to block out moving targets, especially when they're moving and shots are a little bit unpredictable. So I'm really pleased with where we are there. We're going to have to translate it into games, but I think the focus has been great, both by players and staff.
Hey, Mark, what's the value of playing teams like Purdue and Georgetown in the exhibition game?
We're going to find out. I'm really grateful for it. I was, you know, we thought that this rule was going to pass last year. We thought that last year we were going to be able to play Division I opponents in the preseason exhibition games. I love it. You know, you guys are going to hear me say this over and over again, man. Can we get to 41? I would like to get to 41 games now. But this, in a sense, you know, lets us go from kind of 31 to kind of 33, and our added 33 is the #1 team in the country and a Georgetown team that's going to be really, really good. Ed's in the process of really turning this around. So I think it's fun for our fans. I think it's elite for us. Not only do we get to play the preseason #1 ranked team in the country, and we get to do it before the season even starts, but they're also a veteran team that functions probably better together than any team in the country. And so it's going to test us before the season even starts in a really special way, and we need that. Like, we need that. It gives us great data points to grow and figure things out and challenge us. So I love it. I'm really grateful. You know, Matt's probably, if he's not the best coach in the country, he's one of them, and he's proven that he can do it his way with the guys he does. That he's established a really unique, relevant, incredible culture. And so the fact that we get to start that way and then follow up with Ed Cooley, who's, you know, just is elite. I can't think of any better way to prepare to start the season than to get to face those 2 teams.
For a lot of fans, Mark, the new era, the only hard thing is that they don't know the guys, the transfers that come in. Some of the guys transferring.
Yeah.
If you were to just give like a little basic description of their games, that the average fan would know what is happening.
All right, let me try. Jalen Lowe, cat, quick, leader, competitor. D.A., winner, competitor. I'm gonna miss some guys. Mo Diabate, Mo is unique. Okay, I can't do one word because he's got all these sides. He's got the motivation side. He's got the Mo D for Kentucky side. He's got the dog side. He's got the incredible, humble, faithful, devoted side. He's got you get me a little emotional about Mo. He's got the side where he's going to protect his teammates at all costs, no matter what happens, ever, ever, ever. Like this Mo Diabate special. Cam Williams is so fascinating to me right now because he's a shooter. You guys know what that feels like for me. He's also, in our last scrimmage, he doubled up every other player on the floor on the glass. It was a 10-rebound guy in just 16 minutes of play. He's got a capacity to be an elite-level defensive player. He's learning how to get downhill and make plays, but, man, he just got a high ceiling and just a quiet swag about him. Special.
Mark, you talked about spending.
Hold on. Who else did I miss? JQ. I've talked a lot about JQ. You guys all have a sense of JQ, right? Yes? I could tell stories for days about him. He just was at the house. This got so depressing. Ugh. So he was at the house 2 nights ago, and he was beating me so bad in a game of chess that we invented a new rule where I get to turn the board 1 time. So he was beating me so bad, I'm like, okay, freeze. I'm going to turn the board, and you have to play my position. I'll play yours. And the best I could come out of it was a draw, barely. So, I mean, this JQ is stories for days. Reese Potter, guys, is a big-time basketball player. And we're really blessed to have Reese Potter here. In this time of rev share and NIL being such a huge part of this, Reese Potter was a guy that said, you know what, I'm coming to be a part of Kentucky, and he has given us so much. Like, he's really special to me. He's a big-time player. He's going to have a great future in this game. Anybody else? Who else? That's it? Okay.
Mark, you talked about this summer taking a new approach to the defensive side of the ball, spending a little bit more time on the foundation. Just what kind of steps did you take this summer, and kind of where does the team evaluate for yourself right now on that side of the ball?
Yep. Yeah, so it's all the things. So, we spent a ton of time evaluating last year. And, there were some personnel changes that hurt us defensively. The first half of the season, we were really good defensively, and then we just had a major follow-up. Part of it was personnel driven, part of it was scheme driven, and so we've attacked that on like 3 different sides. So we'd like to find a way to be way more aggressive. We want to force teams to be more uncomfortable. And you can do that a bunch of different ways, and we're really trying. We're trying to push up the boards more. We're going to take shots, to extend the floor more. I think we've, positionally, I think we've addressed some mobility things that were tough for us, even though we might be a little smaller than we were last year. And then just in our practice time, just kind of the urgency of it, we've redefined roles on the staff, on the team, and tried to do a major overhaul. I think we're the 51st ranked defensive team in the country, and we'd like to be top 10, and that's a yeoman's task. We'd like to be number 1, but if we can slide in that top 10 space, it's going to serve us really well. But that's going to be an every second of every day pursuit.
This summer you mentioned incorporating 30-minute meetings with your players.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that's helped you get to know each guy or help them coach them better?
Yeah, I actually, it is so painful to squeeze these into the schedule. Like just this morning, I had Denzel Aberdeen for a meeting, and I was double booked, and so we canceled the other event to have his time. It's hard. The day gets really. Sometimes we're doing late night and early morning meetings, but it is. This is Billy Donovan, man. It's not preparing practice for the players. It's preparing players for practice. And one of our keys to this season is going to be that all of us stay fully engaged. It's going to be one of the great challenges for us this season. And that we all are kind of chasing the same vision. And so this individual time is really important. And the trick is, it's the thing that I love most about coaching. And so in that sense, maybe it's really selfish. But it's I think it's really valuable, and I think it's important. And we're going to fight like crazy to keep it alive all season long.
What's the latest on Jaden's timeline for return? And how do you balance, obviously, wanting him back as soon as you can get him back with having him 100% for March and also protecting his long-term future?
Yep, and I don't know exactly the way to strike that balance, but it's really important. The one thing I can tell you is he is like breaking every record known to humankind in terms of his rehab. It's unbelievable. So a month ago, B. Wells and Randy came to me and they were like, Coach, so these numbers are just insane. Okay, so he was at a 46% asymmetry strength-wise, which is fully expected. Okay. And then it was a month, 5 weeks ago, they came to me and said, Coach, it's down to 3%. And not only is the asymmetry down to 3%, but he's 20% stronger, basic kind of in his full leg functioning, both legs, than the average same body type, same size NBA player right now, kind of going through the Kangatech data. That's crazy. Like, this dude is a big, strong, hulking, brilliant, humbling for the head coach player who's going to be really fun to coach this year. So time-wise, he's just going so fast, but we are going to proceed with extreme caution because as fast as he's recovering, there's a balance that we're trying to strike where he's got an incredible future in this game, and we're going to make sure he gets every opportunity to help this team be great and also have an opportunity to go on and do all the great things he's going to do after Kentucky.
So someone who's very innovative and analytical, what trends do you see coming to college basketball in the coming years?
We're all a little bit lemmings. I think watching this OKC Indiana series has got everybody kind of edge about like extending the floor and seeing what impact that has. I think that's got everyone on it. I think we're going to continue to like push the envelope on off the ball stuff. I think as coaches we used to be really good off the ball at coaching actions, and I think what's been interesting over the last couple of years is allowing guys to be incredibly creative, taking 2 and 3 and 4 players off the ball. I think right now there still continues to be this like incredible vibe about trying to shrink the floor in weird areas and then space it and shrink it a little bit. So we're seeing all this, on the defensive side, kind of this brave extending the floor. On the offensive side, kind of this manipulation away from the ball. I think are two trends that continue to kind of push forward.
Last time we were in here, you talked a lot about the jump your players typically make from year 1 to year 2 in your system. Now that you've had the summer with these guys, what are you seeing from your returners? And for those guys, Colin, Trent, BG, what specific aspects of their game are you looking to see that jump?
So Trent Noah is a 1.76 points per possession in live play right now. I've never seen that number ever in the history of college basketball. I mean, it's only 2 weeks, and this is the first day of week 3. Like, Trent has made a massive jump. Colin Chandler is leading the team in DIM right now in defensive impact metric. Both those guys have made just Herculean massive jumps. And most impressive of all, Brandon Garrison, just write this down, Brandon Garrison is winning conditioning runs at the end of practice. You want to talk about like wanting to just like feel like I don't even know what planet I'm living on right now. I'm so proud of this kid. And so, watching those guys grow and Otega, of course, has been dealing with his toe, but the way he's grown as a leader, I'm just, sometimes we get confused in this game. I talk about this all the time. Sometimes we get confused because we get confused that we think that what we're really chasing is achievement, and that is wrong. What we're chasing is growth. Like, it is not achievement. Achievement is like a false, fake, it tricks you. It's growth. And these returning players are actually living that right now. Growth is what brings joy and pride and belief and it makes you walk in the room different. Achievement is fine, but it's fickle. And so out of these second-year guys, man, we're seeing this amazing growth, and they feel it, man. They're different. They walk in the room different. And I love it. It's the best thing about coaching.
Mark, I asked about the Pat Kelsey thing. He spoke about it a week ago at the recruit visit. He said you guys had nice words, but he still loved you. You have any thoughts on whatever that was?
Man, I want so badly to have fun with this, guys. I just don't. I'm not sure what direction to go with it. I do know, because all of it. I'm just gonna make all of it up. Like it was really a big nothing, but like I want it to be something. And I do think that I can't decide if I should make up a story or not. It's just, listen. It's the beauty of this deal is the rivalries, right? And I've said this a lot. I think Indiana is going to be way better. I think Louisville's getting way better. I think our in-state rivals, our in-conference rivals, continue to get way better, and I love every second of it. Like it's how it's supposed to be. This game is great. North Carolina is going to be better this year, and they roll into Rupp. I love when the competition is elite level, and that's what happens. It gets really fun and salty and competitive, and I also am grateful for these incredible coaches. Like, we're at a fun time right now where there are great coaches that are putting their whole heart and soul into this project, and sometimes that could spill over, and it should spill over sometimes, because if it never spills over, that means you're not like in it, fully in it with your whole heart and soul. If you're fully in it, then sometimes you step out of bounds, and that's fun for fans, and it's fun for coaches, and it's fun for everybody. So.
Mark, did you have a game or a moment last season that kind of shaped your thinking between your year one and year two?
Ooh, man, you're making me think here. Say that to me one more time.
Is there a game or a moment that kind of shaped your thinking between that year one and year two for yourself?
Yep.
Kind of like you were talking about with the players.
Yeah, so many. I don't even know where to start. I'm a growth junkie, and so even where there's not moments that you take as like learning, teaching types, we'll rip it, those moments, we'll rip it apart until we can find some nugget that we can actually get better from. So I don't even know where to start. It's a great question. I'm not sure where to start on that.
Coach, towards the end of last season, you obviously faced injury struggles. How do you feel about the depth of the team this year in that next man up situation?
I was actually incredibly proud of our guys last year. Like that group we had last year, I mean, it's actually unbelievably cool. We have, for Big Blue Madness, we have families coming back and we have players coming back. I mean, I will, the attachment to that group in my heart will never go away. I love those guys. And so I felt like they managed all of that in a brilliant way. And I think that this year we're capable of doing it even better. I actually think, that's not just the only part of this depth. When I was here, we had 9 players go play in the NBA for my team. And so practices were so brutal. They were so competitive. It was you got to the games and it felt easier. And I don't know if we're going to have 9 players go to the league from this team or not, but it feels so familiar to me where I'm kind of like, you know what, I got to get these guys off the floor because they're going to kill each other right now. And I do think that our depth is making us way better in practice, and I think it's going to serve us well as we go through the long season and face all the challenges that you face, including injuries.
In regards to playing Purdue, are you curious at all about the mental maturity of your team? Because you can beat Purdue by 30 and maybe they think they've arrived. You can lose by 30 and they're down in the basement. Who knows how good we are.
Yeah, if we were to beat Purdue by 30, I would be like, wow. I would walk in the press conference and be like, what just happened? I mean, this Purdue team is great, right? And so they're a marker of kind of where we're trying to get. I actually want it. Like, the one great thing about doing this before the season starts is you get all that time to reconstruct. And so it's just gathering data. And so right now we're actually in practice trying to create those type of situations so we can learn our guys emotionally.
Mark, what do you know about being the head coach at Kentucky that you didn't know a year ago?
I don't have a great, I wish I had a better answer. I've always felt like I kind of had some understanding of what this was. And so it's just, I thought it was going to be the biggest thing in basketball, and I think it's the biggest thing in basketball. I thought it was going to be most challenging. It's the most challenging. I thought I was going to love it more than I've ever loved a job, and probably ever will love a job ever in my entire life, and I'm pretty sure that that's true. I thought this was the greatest fan base, that where the connection matters so much, and I still think that's true. I think it's just, I just am grateful that we get to live in it. I'm really grateful.
Mark, you talked about being more aggressive on the defensive end. Obviously, this is the 30th year anniversary of the 96 team. Like the press, this team's more athletic.
Yeah.
You talked about being quicker. Will we see some full court press this season?
Yeah, we're thinking about situationally right now. So, for the first time in practice, we're already there. It's not, it's not every second of every minute of every game, but some places where we will always look to exert some pressure right now going into the season that we plan to, until we get exposed different, and even probably after that, we'll probably just try and do it better. But yes, the answer is yes. We have the personnel, and I think we have the depth, and I think we have the athleticism and the mobility and the determination and the togetherness to find a way to be functional, extending pressure, which is hard to do. It's harder in college basketball than it's ever been because guys are so skilled, but I think we can do it. It's way different. What's incredibly fun, it's not just my returning players that are growing, but it's our staff that is growing so much. As a head coach, you do your best on short and limited information about kind of positioning guys in the responsibilities where they're going to excel the most. And then there's also this growing process of, like, a year ago at this time, our staff still had so many questions about, like, well, what do you do with this and how do we do this and everything else? And now I feel like we've gravitated guys more into the places where they can be stars on the staff. And we still have so much growth to accomplish as a staff, but I feel like we're in a way different spot, and I'm grateful for that. I think we're functioning well together.
Mark, I know you can't speak specifically about recruits and the recruiting front, but just 1 year into this, as you and your staff continue to extend yourself on the trail and bring guys in on campus and visit guys in their communities, can you speak a little bit to what that experience is like and also how receptive recruits have been to the message now that there's 1 year of film of what you can do at Kentucky?
Yeah, it's I think the process is even more fun than it's ever been. I'll continue to say that it's the most important part of this process for us is not finding the best, highest ranked player. You'd be shocked at how many times we end up mutually walking away because we know what Kentucky is, and finding the right player here it doesn't amount to the sum of just going to find whoever someone is ranking the highest player. And you can't know that before you get deep into the recruiting process. Like the recruiting process actually is, I love it so much because the most important thing is that you get to know each other and understand, like, what is really driving a player, and a player needs to understand what's really driving a program. And it's not about, for me at least, the way we want to do it here at Kentucky, it's not just about kind of ignoring that part and just grabbing the right talent. Our locker room again this year is special, and I'm telling you that translates. It's a winning formula, and it also represents this place really, really well. And so all of that said, that's why recruiting is so fun for us. Because even the kids that we recruit really hard, that it ends up that this is not the right fit for them, like, we've had a chance to build a great relationship that this world is so small, so we're going to cross paths 100 times. And I love the recruiting process because it gives us the opportunity to know these incredible young men and their great families and build relationships that'll last. And I love the guys that are actually ending up here because I think it fits. Like I'm telling you, our locker room could be really complicated right now, and there'll be times this season where it is. But man, the heart of this deal is a bunch of really incredibly special guys that it may be challenging for some programs to have a group of guys where representing this university, representing the people of the Commonwealth, representing this Kentucky name, where that's secondary. It's not with our group, man, and that means something to me.
How do you build those relationships when you're recruiting the portal on such a shorter window?
I think you just as honest as you can. So every recruit that I've ever recruited, this will be familiar, is we're talking. I'll be like, come on, disagree with me, argue with me, ask me the uncomfortable question, because that's when we know we've started talking. Like, that's it. Can I get a recruit and a family to be like, Coach, that's baloney, man. You just said this. And they're like, now we're actually having a conversation. Like, we're trusting each other enough to be honest, to like really talk about the things that matter. And what's interesting is a lot of times recruits through the process are going through the process of trying to discover themselves about what really matters to themselves. These are young guys. And so that exploratory process of human nature and kind of where they happen to be in their lives is incredibly dynamic. Every recruit is so unique. And so the sooner we can get down to like trusting each other enough to have honest conversations, the hard conversations, the controversial conversations, the stuff that you feel uncomfortable to talk about, but you probably need to, like then you know that you're somewhere. And the beautiful thing about it is you don't know where you're going to end up, but at least you're talking.
How does your approach to roster building change when you have so many players on this roster that have multiple years of eligibility left?
That has been something we're really trying to figure that out. It's really complicated. Again, for the fourth straight year, we're in here saying everything has changed. And so, again, for this coming cycle, we're working under a totally, first time ever set of rules, standards, working off a cap is just something that's so new, right? And so, we're modeling every single day, and it's complicated. There's all kind of dynamics about how to do that. I do know that for us right now, we're so excited about this team that we have right now that our number one focus is there, and then all the stuff about next year and how that works, we're going to deal with that when next year comes. But right now, we feel like we got a beautiful Ferrari, and we can't wait to take it for a spin. Am I allowed to say that? Do we have some endorsement deals that are going to, or choose your pick?
Mark, you got good news on Andrea. Just what's the relief there, and also what's like to finally get your hands on him after not having him for 8 weeks of the summer?
It's really great to put him in the mix and know that he's going to be in the mix from day one. That's wonderful. He came in. Listen, summer is important for us, so he came in. 8 full weeks of study and work behind, and that's hard. The way we play, that's so decision intensive and learning intensive, and so he is. Since he started in the fall, it's been a mad dash to try and catch up. And I think his first couple of weeks, he was like, "Man, what have I signed up for?" But he's actually showing some signs now of catching up, and he's going to be really fun.
Coach, I think we talked about everyone except the freshmen. So how's Jasper, Brayden, and Malachi doing? Because obviously that first year away from home can be a little bit difficult.
Yeah, we got 3 special freshmen. I don't know who to start with. I'll start with BH. I'll start with Braden Hawthorne. Braden Hawthorne is I cannot wait for you guys to spend time with Braden Hawthorne. He is just joy. He is joy. And if you've ever been privileged to have a friend that has no guile, then you know what I mean about how lucky you are to be around a person that is just unfiltered, just gives you his whole heart. He's not putting up a wall. He's not trying to be too cool. He just is just genuine joy. I love this kid. And his ceiling, Tayshaun Prince came and visited us a couple weeks ago, and I looked at those guys stand shoulder to shoulder. I'm like, my gosh, like, you know, right now BH is actually just a little bit broader than Tayshaun, which is crazy. But this Braden Hawthorne, he's built special, and I think he's got an incredible upside. Jasper Johnson, I can't tell you how proud I am of him. The intentionality with which he's trying to grow in the places that might not have been his strengths, like he is digging in on the defensive side and like trying so hard to buy into what we're telling him this game is going to demand of him this season. He's doing an unbelievable job, and he's become he's become a much more consistent shooter, as well as being dangerous. And you know, his percentages are really good right now. And so I'm incredibly proud of his focus, and he's growing every single day in important ways. And Malachi Moreno he walked onto the court and was a presence from the very second he walked on the court. And he's going to have some growing pains because he's a freshman, but his impact is incredible. Like he is, you know, he's I'm trying to remember if I'm saying these numbers right. He's in the high 70s, low 80s in terms of field goal percentage right now, and he's our leading rebounder on the team. And he just is a dominant force inside, and his communication skills are growing, and he's got a chance to be really special in a list of bigs that have been incredible here at Kentucky.
Do you want to leave us with some FanFest and Madness?
Oh, yes, yes.
And then we'll have Coach Brooks.
Yeah, guys, I'm so excited about this. I'm so excited about Big Blue Madness. As always, we're introducing something brand new, which is going to be the Fan Fest, which is going to go from noon to 4:30. And, you know, one of the greatest things about Big Blue Madness that separates us from everything else is I think the whole arena sold out in 29 minutes now, maybe. And so this is going to be open to everybody in the public for free. You don't have to have a ticket to Big Blue. I'm going to be there. The guys are going to be there, signing, talking, pictures. We're going to have a bunch of booze there and food there and games there. And it's just an opportunity for us to just reach out and actually touch and hug every single member of Big Blue Nation. It's going to be unbelievable. It's in the, what did I miss?
The exhibit hall.
It's in the exhibit hall. And I can't wait. It's gonna be so fun. One thing very near and dear and personal in my heart, the Be the Match program, which is now they've just renamed it to the National Marrow Donor Program. Let me tell you a little bit about this. So what this is, and this is something that's really Leanne and I are incredibly passionate about. So what you do is you just come in and you just take a simple cheek swab, and then they put you in a database, and it's really young adults, older teens and young adults is really the age where it's most relevant. And you could be called, and they could find you as a donor for a bone marrow transplant. So let me give you the impact of this. I have a manager at BYU who jumped into this program. He was with all my guys on the team, and he did a little SWAS, you know, just a little test. It takes 30 seconds, and he got a call like a year later, and was given the opportunity to give a bone marrow, to be a bone marrow donor to a young girl, and he went through the surgery and saved her life, and it just is incredible. It just is like, it's the most amazing thing ever. And in this state of Kentucky, where we want to be number one at everything, where we don't want to stay is number one in the occurrence, the incidence, and number one in the mortality of cancer. That's where we are right now. And so as a community, there's no community I've ever been around that rallies like this Commonwealth. And so, you know, when you come to this Fan Fest, if it's in your heart to do this, it takes 30 seconds. It's nothing. It's no commitment. But just to join this donor registry where you literally could have the chance to save a life, I'm just urging everybody where it's in their heart to do it. It can make a huge difference.
All right, thanks, everybody.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
You literally will walk in, and then Cammie and Evan will escort you to the gym. That was how to get the players.
Thank you guys for being here. Obviously, starting year 2, feel a lot more comfortable than starting year 1, just understanding what we're about to get into. But nonetheless, want to try to feed off of a really good year for us. I thought we did a really good job of setting a foundation where we want to go and who we want to be. Last year was terrific. Very proud of the young women who really sacrificed a lot to help us get on this trajectory. So a lot of fun. I think we'll be able to talk a little bit about it at Big Blue Madness when we were talking about breaking records and everything we did last year, and obviously looking forward to this year. And I'm very excited about this group. A lot of unknowns. Just like most coaches around the country at this point of the year, you're just trying to build chemistry, and we're trying to do that. And I think we're on our way. Been banged up a little bit, but looking forward to having a good week this week with a full complement of players where they can go out and just start to build that chemistry with the talent that we have. So very excited and looking forward to everything that we can accomplish this year.
We'll start off with Roscoe.
Roscoe.
Hi, so I'm Roscoe. I go to Stonewall School and I'm in 5th grade. And I would like to ask you, if there was a movie about your whole life, who would be the actor to play you?
Ooh. If you had asked 5 years ago, I might have said Will Smith, but now let's just keep it safe and say Denzel couldn't mess up a movie, so I would say Denzel Washington. Yes, he is. He's fantastic, and I think I look like him a little bit. Great question, my man. Great question.
We'll go Jordan, Caroline, Sierra, Mark, and then we'll reset.
Coach, from when the ladies first arrived on campus in June to now, what's maybe one thing you and your staff are like, all right, we expected that, and maybe what's one thing where we're like, oh, we're a little bit better at this than I thought?
We expected, just the attitude, obviously building off of last year, and a lot of them gained so much confidence in themselves, not only on the court, but off the court. And they came to campus. They were ready. They were ready to get to work, and their attitude, the returners' attitude, has been very infectious to the newcomers. And hey, this is how we do it. So I've been very proud of that. What I didn't expect is they seemed taller than I remembered. Before they left. This is probably the tallest team I've ever had in my 25 years of coaching. And I think we're going to be able to use that to our advantage, just because obviously we may not be the quickest team, but like last year we led the country in block shots. And I think we have the catalyst to still do that again with Tiani Key and Clara Strack, holding down the middle. But they're very tall and they're long, and so we're looking forward to using that to our advantage.
Coach, will you speak to what it's been like to build your relationship up with Tony Morgan?
You know what? And I think first and foremost, I said it early. I didn't want Tony to feel like she had to be Georgia, and although we reference Georgia a lot in our conversations, just because Tony and I only have less than a year to build that chemistry, and so the blueprint has been what Georgia provided. And to Tony's credit, she has been magnificent as far as just understanding it, welcoming it, watching. We watch film of Georgia, and not just to praise Georgia, but Georgia did it in a way that Tony wants to learn how to do it as well. So I commend her for just her coming in here, hearing Georgia's name a lot, but not letting it affect her, and knowing that she's still going to be Tony. And we're excited for what she's going to be able to bring to us, because she can do some things that Georgia couldn't do. So it's up to me to tap into those resources, and I'm excited for what she's going to be able to do this year.
Coach, could you just talk about how last season going in, you didn't have two key pieces that you intended to have in Obi and Nova. Just talk about entering this year, having them, and also how them sitting out could have also been a benefit because they've been able to observe.
Yeah, first and foremost, just to see them out on the court, it just warms your heart, because you know how hard they worked after being devastated with the injury and not being able to play. So they really poured their energy into getting better and getting back out onto the floor. Jordan has looked, really, really good. She's probably close to 100%. Dom is still working her way back with confidence and whatnot. It takes a while for that injury to get better, but just having them both on the floor, it was painful for us last year not to have them, but it's also a benefit, for them to be able to have watched last year, to understand what the system is, can add some of their expertise to the newcomers, and they've both been beneficial to us, and they're going to provide depth for us.
Kenny, obviously Clara had a great year last year. Where have you challenged her? And what is her challenge? Because she's the player.
Yeah. The beauty is I think she's challenging me. And I always tell them if they want to be great, you have to meet me halfway. And, this kid, she's done everything that I've asked her to do in a short amount of time. And even though we put so much pressure on her, and rightfully so because she deserves it, she's earned it. But then sometimes I have to reel myself in to say, hey, look, she's still 19 years old. She's only supposed to be a sophomore this year, and she's well beyond her years. So what I mean by she challenges me, every day it's like, okay, can we get an extra workout? Can we get extra shots? Can we do this? I don't ever have to ask her, and she's really compliant in that because she wants to be great. She's a fierce competitor. She's gotten better, and I think what you guys are going to see this year. So if there are traditionalists out there and they're talking about post players and you want me to put her on the block and let her bang and throw up some 2-foot layups, it's not going to happen. She's kind of like a new age center in the way that the game is evolving, where they can do more than just go down on the block. We've got plays, we've got some opportunities for her to bring the ball up the floor. We've given her the green light. Okay, if you get a rebound, hey, let's go with it. We're doing things unorthodox where instead of her always setting the ball screen and rolling, she's getting the ball screen set for her, and she's coming off of it because she's such a dynamic passer. I think she's one of the best passing post players in the country. Now, what she has to be ready for is that she's not going to sneak up on anyone. She's going to be the focal point of everyone's scouting report, and I think that she's ready for that. And she's had a phenomenal summer. She's gotten a lot better. She's shooting the 3-ball as well as anybody on our team right now. And I just think you're going to see her continue to develop and to have a 6'5" mobile center who can do a lot of different things. We're going to take advantage of it, and that's going to be our way of being a hard guard. But very proud of her and what she's been able to accomplish in a short amount of time. And her attitude is infectious, and she's becoming one of our leaders on the team. And that's something that I never would have considered maybe a year ago, and that's just how far she's grown as a person and a player.
Four more, and that may be it. Brad, Lindsay, Michelle, Kai, and then we'll squeeze Maggie in and then call it a day.
Hey, Coach. KK Carroll, just talk about her, what she brings, her size, her shooting, things of that nature.
She's a freshman. Best thing about freshmen is they become sophomores now. I think, for KK's situation, she's going to be a dynamic player for us. She has to go through a process, and it's really not fair what we're trying to ask of her right now because she's essentially the only freshman that's in the rotation. And so therefore she's playing with a bunch of seniors and, people who are really trying to help lead her. But the one thing that she does do exceptionally well is she shoots the basketball. And she's had a trying preseason, just like any freshman would when they're learning. But there's no doubt in my mind by the time we tip it off, she's going to be there in the rotation helping us because she's a great shooter. And she has a great attitude. And what she doesn't know, she's trying to pick it up. And she's gotten so much better since the beginning of practice. And we're excited about her She has an infectious attitude. She wants to work hard. She shoots the ball exceptionally well. And she's going to be a nightmare for other people when we put her in the game because she's going to really stretch the defense. And so I'm excited about her and what she's been able to do. And she's going to be a big part of our success this year.
Talking to Tiani over the summer, she just seems so much more confident, and a lot of teammates mentioned her as somebody that's stepping up as a leader. How have you seen her kind of come into her own in year 2 in your system?
Well, I think probably in the year 2032 or so, she's going to run for president of the United States. That's how much she's grown, and her confidence has just blossomed. And she walks into her room, and she commands the room. We're down on the floor. If Tiani opens her mouth, everyone listens. And it's a major step from where she was at this time last year. We were just begging and pleading for her to be her own cheerleader. And now she's really commanding the room, understands what we want, how we want it done. I think she's going to have a tremendous year. I really do. She plays with a lot of confidence. Again, her versatility, just like with Clara, our forward center combination, it has to be one of the better ones in the country just because of their experience, their height, their mobility, what they can provide. And we're looking forward to utilizing it. But very proud of Tiani. made the dean's list last year. She's had a tremendous transformation since she's come to the University of Kentucky, and that's what she was looking for when she transferred. And I'm just glad and proud of the way she has prospered, and I'm looking forward to what she can do this year.
Another question about Tiani. What have you seen from her? I know you talked about her leadership, but the work she put in this summer and as she's approaching year 2 for you.
She's put in so much work to expand her game, to fine-tune her game, to be confident in some of the things that she hasn't done well. And because of that, and because of her work ethic, we've kind of given her carte blanche. Just go. Just play. If you make a mistake, it's on me. If you make another mistake, it's on the other coach. You know, and we want her to just play with confidence, because when she does, so many wonderful things can happen. And when she's playing like that, and it gives us an opportunity to beat anyone. And we want to give her that opportunity to grow, because we think that we'll benefit from it. I think she'll benefit from it. And no question in my mind that, you know, she's going to have a year that's really going to be one that's going to be impacted not just by her play, but by her leadership. And that's just as important to us, because I half joking said she's going to run for president, but she could. And because she's that striking of a personality, and everyone wants to follow her.
Coach, you all did your work in the portal, and it seems when you look down the roster that you have enough to have that second unit. How relieving is that after last year, and also how important is it in a sport of college basketball to have a bench like that?
Yeah, it's very important. You know, I looked through box scores throughout the NCAA tournament last year, and the teams that really survived at the end were the teams who are deep enough. You know, there were a lot of teams only playing 7. And, you know, we wanted to be one of the teams that not only do you not want to wear your players down throughout the regular season, but you want to have that depth so that you can just have options, choices. And we carefully went through the portal, and we wanted to get the right pieces. You know, we didn't want to just assemble a group of talent and put them out there and see what happens. We wanted to have pieces, and we did that. We got, you know, Asia Boone, who is probably one of the better shooters in the country that can help stretch the defense. Josie Gilvin, you know, she brings an unorthodox style to our philosophy, where we kind of guard the paint, where she does a really good job of anticipating and playing defense and causing havoc all over the place. And I think that's going to be good for us too. So, and then you talk about KK, the addition of KK. But you look at a lot of our players. We talked about Tiani. We talked about Tony. We've talked about Jordan, Clara. The one that you guys really need to watch out for is Amelia. And Amelia has walked into the room like, okay, you know, she busts down the door like, here I am. And she's got the green light. She's shooting the ball exceptionally well. I think she grew an inch over the summer. But she's playing, you know, out of her mind. So you get all those options right now, and it gives us a chance to go out there and compete with anyone. And that's all we ask for, is an opportunity to compete with anyone. But having that bench is going to give us that chance.
Last year around this time, you told us you were maybe a little worried that team was going to be too nice.
Yeah.